So we ran a couple tests for a client. We tested Mildozo, didn't even work. We then went to Google and Microsoft, and one of our clients, she was booking about 1 to 2 meetings per day, fairly consistently. We launched ListKit email accounts. Dude, I kid you not, she booked 7 meetings yesterday.
Oh,
She
wow.
booked 7 meetings yesterday. She's at about, I think, 4 or 5 today. I ran an inbox placement test, and the deliverability score is over 98%, which is just like, what? And I hopped on a call with her today, and she literally told me that she has so many meetings on the calendar that we need to slow down.
All right, what's going on, guys? Andre Hagel Jr. here from ListKit, back with another case study interview. Here with my man Samir, who runs a cold email agency, and originally came to ListKit wanting a more scalable solution for his infrastructure, the cold email setup, the inboxes side of things for his clients. And so, Samir, if you could just get us started with a quick intro and give us more context as to why you initially approached ListKit with interest for our DFY setup offer and infrastructure.
Yeah, so we're a cold email agency for B2B service companies. And I'd say the main thing with us is that we do start with a lot of infrastructure up front. Like currently, our test run for a lot of our clients is about 100 plus inboxes. And one of our clients actually actively right now is running over 800. So our biggest bottleneck has just been maintaining deliverability at scale. So what would happen in the past is like we would launch new email accounts, right, from these platforms like Mildozo and Mailreef, and we'd even go directly to Google and Microsoft. But what would happen is we'd launch these accounts, and within like 4 weeks, they'd be burnt out. And then we'd have to go to the client and be like, hey, we have to warm up new email accounts, right, for another 14 days. And then it would just be this endless loop of like, we warm up accounts, they don't work. We warm up more accounts, they work for a little bit, then still don't work. And then that just caused a lot of trouble and really prevented us from really scaling up a lot of our clients, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's like the stop start approach too that not just is a pain to deal with as a client, but it also kills momentum in a cold email campaign. And as you know, with cold emails, like any other marketing channel, once you get momentum, like you want to pour gasoline on the fire. And if you have to restart as soon as you start to see success, it's like the worst thing that can happen because you finally
Yeah.
made it and then you got to go to square one again. And that's a problem that a lot of people in the cold email industry face is because cold email tech and deliverability has gotten more and more complex and um, difficult at scale. But that's why ListKit built this whole DFY cold email setup offer, and we've really dove fully into having a solid infrastructure. And at this point, across our entire client base, we're approaching over 100,000 email accounts that we maintain across the entire client base. So we know, I would say we're experts and we're the best in class at doing deliverability and inbox management at scale. And that's just part of the cold email offer process, but obviously that was a super valuable piece for you guys. So yeah, like what was that process like in terms of streamlining some of the setup process for your clients, and
Yeah.
then we can get into performance as well.
Yeah, so before, like, we used to go directly to Google and Microsoft, and I had to like pay all these people to like set up each and every account, and we'd have to wait weeks for them to even set them up. Versus with you guys, it was just like, hey, here's how many accounts we need. You guys set all of them up for us, and then they were almost instantly inside of our sending platform, and then all we had to do was just warm them up. So I would say it like really streamlined our fulfillment on that side. That like one, it saved me all this extra margin of having to pay all these people, and then two, it just made our, I'd say, time to value a lot quicker because we were able to deliver inboxes faster. We were able to then launch campaigns faster, and then we were able to just pretty much crush it from there.
Awesome. And if you're doing like a cost comparison, Samir, like the cost of the list kit infrastructure versus the cost of if you were to even do it on your own, like if you wanted to just do it by yourself or through other providers, like you mentioned some of the other ones on the market, like Mailreef, like how does ListKit stack up against those competitors in terms of like affordability and
Oh
competitiveness?
man. I mean, I'd say the Mill Reef guys and all them, Mildozo, they're a little cheaper, but the quality you'll find is that they'll burn out in about 4 weeks. The only one that lasted us beyond 4 weeks would be going directly to Google and Microsoft. But now for that stuff, you're looking at like 1,000 a month, not even counting the domains and everything else you'd be paying for. I would say ListKit's that perfect balance where they they're cheap enough, but at the same time they outperform like almost everything else we've tried.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, like talk a little bit about performance. Like, how does it stack up against some
Oh
of
yeah.
these other competitors that you've tried? Because you've tried a lot of the
Uh-huh.
competitors being in the cold email space as much as you are.
So when we were running Google and Microsoft with one of our, so we ran a couple tests for a client. We tested Maildozo, didn't even work. We then went to Google and Microsoft, and one of our clients, she was booking about 1 to 2 meetings per day, fairly consistently. We launched ListKit email accounts. Dude, I kid you not, she booked 7 meetings yesterday.
Oh
She
wow.
booked 7 meetings yesterday. She's at about, I think, 4 or 5 today. I ran an inbox placement test, and the deliverability score is over 98%, which is just like, what? And I hopped on a call with her today, and she literally told me that she has so many meetings on the calendar that we need to slow down.
I was gonna say because you reached out to me, like we were trying to coordinate our schedules
Yeah.
for this interview because you originally reached out and said you're getting 5 meetings a day for this client. Is that the same client?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So 7 yesterday, another 4 or 5. So it stayed consistent for a little while now.
Yeah. The amount of meetings we used to book in like 3 months, we're now doing in like a week, which is
Wow.
crazy.
And what changed? Was it really just like the infrastructure side of things? Was the
Yeah.
big A/B test you ran?
So one, with better email accounts from you guys, our campaign performance went up by so much just because now more people were actually seeing our emails. And I would say the second thing is because of how you guys are priced, it allowed us to double our volume without actually breaking the bank. So like before, it would be very tough for me to go to the client and be like, "Hey, like, can we increase volume? Can we increase volume?" But then it'd be an extra like 1 to 2K a month on top. Versus with you guys, like we're honestly paying the exact same amount we did for all the old accounts with ListKit, but now we're able to send double the volume and it's double the results.
Wow, that's exciting. That's so awesome to hear. And is there anything to be said about like the time savings of like, okay, you no longer have to like manage an entire team to set up inboxes. Like, what do you do with that additional time? Does it go back into campaign strategy that is able to also contribute to the results you're seeing?
Yeah, so now that we don't have to focus on deliverability, inbox rotation, demarc, setting up inboxes, and all of that, a lot of our time now is around how we can launch new campaigns. So even with that exact client, like with that extra time, we launched a new campaign going after a new niche. And that, like our old campaigns, were getting like one interested lead every like 300 emails sent on like good domains, like fresh ones. Now that's down to one every 60 because of that extra allocated time, which is like, that's great. And then even just with me, like now I can actually focus on getting more clients for ourselves too, instead
Yeah.
of like trying to manage this team and do all this other stuff.
Yeah, it
Uh,
increases capacity for your agency to take on more clients.
exactly.
That's exciting, man. Well, dude, that's awesome to hear. This is the first time we're catching up live on a call since we've gotten you set up on the ListKit infrastructure, and it's really refreshing to hear that the results that I was pitching you really hard on are living up to the hype so far. So
Yeah, they
thank
are
you for the time to share, bro. I
for
appreciate
sure.
it. And for anyone listening, and if you are already doing cold email or if you're completely new to cold email, wherever you might be, either you want to set up and launch campaigns for the first time, or you want to add a ListKit to your current stock, or if you want to just A/B test against what you're currently doing, just go to listkit.io to learn more. We have a cold email setup offer. We sell leads outright. We sell infrastructure. We sell it all, and we're happy to help you and hopefully make you our next case study. Thanks for listening and keep crushing it out there. Peace.